Who is Michael?
Honey, I can explain. It's not what it looks like.
I never thought a single message could unravel 5 years of marriage. It all started with a notification lighting up my wife Sarah S. phone while she was in the shower. At first, I wasn't trying to snoop. Honestly, I was just annoyed by the constant buzzing on the nightstand. But then I saw the preview on the lock screen. "Did you miss me today?" My chest tightened instantly. I told myself it had to be innocent, maybe a friend or a family member joking around. But my fingers hovered over the screen for longer than they should have. My heart started pounding, a mix of dread and morbid curiosity. When I finally unlocked the phone, my hands were shaking. The chat was already open, almost as if it were waiting for me to find it. "Today was hard without you," Sarah had written earlier that day. The reply from someone named Daniel said, "It won't be long before we don't have to hide." In that moment, I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. The room tilted, and the air got thick. It was a physical sensation, like a punch to the gut. The world I knew, the life we had built, felt like it was crumbling. When she came out of the bathroom, a towel wrapped around her hair, she was smiling. She looked so normal, so carefree. It was a jarring contrast to the chaos swirling inside me. "You look pale," she said, reaching out to touch my arm. Her touch felt foreign. I pulled away slightly. I took a deep breath, and the only question I could manage was, "Who is Daniel?" Her smile vanished. It didn't just fade. It was wiped clean from her face, replaced by a look of pure panic. The fact that she didn't deny it, that she didn't even try to lie, somehow hurt more than if she had. "It's not what you think," she said, her voice barely a whisper as she sat down slowly on the edge of the bed. I let out a laugh, but it came out hollow and sharp, a sound I didn't recognize as my own. "Then tell me what it is," I said, holding up her phone, the screen glowing with their conversation. She stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity before she finally spoke. "We've just been talking," she said quietly, refusing to meet my eyes. "Talking?" I asked, my voice rising. "Talking about missing each other, talking about not having to hide anymore." She looked away, staring at the wall, and her silence was the loudest confession I'd ever heard. That was all the answer I needed. I told her I wanted to know everything. Every message, every late reply, every secret smile she'd had that wasn't for me. I needed to understand how we got here. Her explanation started with a quiet, devastating admission. She said she felt invisible at home, that I'd stopped seeing her. I reminded her, my voice cold, that feeling invisible doesn't give you a free pass to betray someone. She started to cry, soft, heaving sobs, insisting she never planned for it to go this far, that she never planned to meet him. I looked her straight in the eyes and asked, "But you would have, wouldn't you? If you'd had enough time." She didn't answer, and that silence, that refusal to deny it, hurt more than all the messages combined. I told her I needed space, that I couldn't breathe in the same room with her. She begged me not to leave, her voice cracking. But I wasn't going anywhere. I just walked to the kitchen and stood there, staring at a blank wall as if it held the answers, trying to piece together how the foundation of our marriage had eroded without me even noticing. Later that night, I was on the couch, and she was in the bedroom. My phone buzzed. It was a text from her. "I'm still here," her message said. I typed back a reply that felt both true and terrible. "So am I, but I don't feel married anymore." A few minutes later, she walked out and sat beside me on the couch, keeping a careful, deliberate distance between us. "I messed up," she said, her voice breaking. I looked at her. "Messing up is forgetting an anniversary, Sarah. Messing up is leaving the milk out. This is building a secret emotional life with someone else." She finally admitted that Daniel made her feel seen. He listened. He noticed things. I had to ask the question that had been burning a hole in my heart. Why did my eyes stop being enough? She shook her head, tears falling onto her hands. "I don't know when it happened," she whispered. "I just know that it did." I told her trust isn't something that just shatters in an instant. It doesn't disappear suddenly. It erodes quietly, piece by piece, until one day you realize there's nothing left holding you up. She nodded, still crying. Then I gave her an ultimatum. "Block him," I said. "Block him right now." She hesitated. It was only for a second, maybe two. But in that second, I saw our entire future hang in the balance. That single moment of hesitation nearly ended us right there. But then she picked up her phone, her hands trembling, and blocked his number right in front of me. I didn't feel relief or victory or anything positive. All I felt was a deep, bone-weary exhaustion. We sat there in silence as the first hints of dawn crept through the curtains, two strangers on a couch that used to be our safe space. The next morning, she made coffee, moving around the kitchen like it was just any other day. The routine felt like a lie. As she handed me a mug, I asked her the question I was most afraid of. "Do you love him?" She looked at me, her eyes clear for the first time in hours, and said, "No." And I believed her. But the strange thing was, it didn't fix anything. Love wasn't the only thing that mattered anymore. Love without respect feels empty, I told her. She finally asked the question we had both been avoiding. "Are we over?" My honest answer was the scariest one of all. "I don't know." I could see that the uncertainty, the not knowing, terrified her more than my anger ever could have. The days that followed were filled with careful conversations and long, heavy pauses. We talked more honestly than we had in years. She admitted she should have come to me when she felt lost, before she ever turned to him. And I had to admit my own failure. I'd stopped listening long before she stopped talking. But our confessions, our shared blame, didn't magically erase the damage. The wound was still wide open. One night she asked me, "Are you still reading those messages in your head?" I told her the truth. Yes, and I think I probably always will be. She didn't get defensive. She just nodded and said, "I'll wait. However long it takes for you to trust me again." I looked at her and said, "Waiting doesn't rebuild trust, Sarah. Actions do." And she started to act. She started showing me everything on her phone without me ever having to ask. Her location was always on. She sent me pictures from her day. It was a constant stream of transparency. It helped slowly, but scars don't just vanish overnight. The ghost of those messages lingered. Weeks later, I was sitting on the couch and realized I hadn't felt the urge to check her phone all day. That small realization surprised me. It was the first sign that maybe, just maybe, something was healing. That evening, she reached over and took my hand. "I'd choose you," she said, her voice firm. "Even when it's hard, I'd choose you." I squeezed her hand back. "Choosing me once isn't enough," I told her. "You have to keep choosing me every single day,